pause for a moment. Feel the gentle hum of your own existence. Now ask yourself with profound sincerity, do you truly wield absolute control over the narrative of your life? Before your mind rushes to an answer, allow this question to settle within you, deep in the quiet spaces of your being. Did you consciously choose the very fabric of your desires, the bedrock of your beliefs, the elusive shadows of your fears? Or were these fundamental blueprints woven into your essence by the subtle, insistent hands of your family, the pervasive currents of society, or the echoes of experiences so profoundly buried they exist only as an impulse within you? We, as humans, cherish the exquisite illusion of freedom, convinced that every decision blossoms from a rational, independent mind. But what if this cherished sense of agency is, in its intricate design, merely a meticulously constructed dream? Carl Jung, a profound cartographer of the human spirit, offered a vision both disturbing and liberating. For him, the vast expanse we label as free will is often but a shimmering reflection of the unconscious, a grand, silent theater where we perceive ourselves as the directors. Yet in truth, we are subtly choreographed by hidden ancient forces residing deep within our very core. Have you ever sensed that familiar, weary sigh as you find yourself traversing the same emotional landscapes, repeating identical patterns, or drawn, as if by an invisible thread, to the very types of people or situations that have previously led to disquiet? If you were truly unbound, truly sovereign, why then would you consistently gravitate towards choices that, in the quiet aftermath, leave a residue of suffering? The profound truth, Jung suggested, is that many of the decisions you believe you are making were, in essence, already written, etched into the scrolls of your inner world long before your conscious mind even registered the act of choosing. Your earliest years laid down indelible programming. The unresolved echoes, the traumas you buried in the deep recesses of memory, subtly dictate your spontaneous reactions to the world around you. The very emotions you instinctively avoid become the hidden governors of your entire life. And here lies the most arresting revelation. This deep, subterranean entity, your unconscious, often prefers stagnation. It resists deviation. It does not yearn for your awakening. As Jung famously declared, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. But to truly comprehend the weight of this statement, we must journey deeper. What unseen entities exert their influence behind the velvet curtain of your own mind? And more critically, is there a map, a true compass, to navigate this intricate labyrinth, to dismantle this illusion and reclaim genuine sovereignty over your life's unfolding narrative? If you believe you already possess these answers, I invite you to reconsider, for the insights we are about to unveil may forever alter the very lens through which you perceive your own being. Chapter 1. Deconstructing the core concept. If the reins of your will were truly yours to command, why then do you so frequently feel ensnared within cycles you desperately wish to transcend? Why, after making a solemn promise to yourself that this time will be different, that you will forge new, more aligned pathways, do you invariably find yourself retracing familiar, often self-limiting patterns? The true source of this recurring dilemma isn't a deficiency in your conscious resolve, nor a flaw in your reasoning. It originates from a dimension far more profound, the silent dominion of your unconscious mind. Carl Jung understood the unconscious not as a mere forgotten archive, but as a vast, living ocean, an immense, energetic system perpetually in motion beneath the tranquil surface of your conscious awareness. Picture your conscious mind, your ego, your immediate personality, as a small, brightly lit vessel, sailing on a calm, visible sea. You perceive the immediate waves, the horizon, the guiding stars. But beneath you, extending into unfathomable depths, are the powerful, silent currents, the thermoclines of ancestral memory, and the hidden geological structures of primal instinct. These unseen forces exert a constant, undeniable pull on your vessel, subtly altering its course, even when your hand is firmly on the rudder. This deep ocean holds not only the personal history of your voyage, the storms you weathered, the calm harbors you found, but also the collective navigational charts passed down through generations. The compass settings absorbed from your family, the prevailing winds of societal norms, the very anchors of belief that were dropped without your explicit consent. All these become intrinsic components of your ship's deep water programming, dictating its drift, even if you never consciously examine the origins of these settings. One might argue, but I make choices every day. I choose my breakfast, my clothes, my path. And indeed, on the surface, this appears to be true. Yet we must ask, from where do these choices truly spring? Is the desire for a specific breakfast truly spontaneous? Or is it influenced by ingrained habits, by subtle advertising, by the comfort of the familiar? The unconscious does not override your ability to choose. Rather, it subtly predisposes your preferences, shapes your perceptions, and colors your emotional reactions, often guiding your free choice towards a predetermined outcome. Much like an unseen current guides a leaf on a stream, the choice feels free because the origin of the impulse remains veiled. Chapter 2. A Case Study in Action. If your inner vessel is so profoundly influenced by invisible currents, what then constitutes your true ballast, your core integrity? Do you truly know the full inventory of your ship's cargo, even those pieces you've deliberately cast overboard? The answer, I warn you, might demand a courageous descent into your own deep hold. According to Jung, nestled within the core of every human journey lies a hidden cargo, a collection of rejected or neglected aspects of ourself, qualities, instincts, desires that we have deemed unworthy of conscious awareness. This unseen yet immensely powerful freight is what he termed the shadow. The shadow is no mere abstract concept. It is a dynamic, living component of your psychological architecture, as real and influential as any conscious thought. And its gravitational pull on your life's direction is likely far greater than you'd prefer to admit. Think of those disquieting moments when your ship reacted without your conscious command. That sudden, inexplicable surge of white-hot aggression burning through your composure, that curious, insidious detour into self-sabotage, a quiet whisper that leads you to undermine a perfectly viable opportunity, leaving you with a hollow sense of confusion. That irrational, icy fear that grips the helm, paralyzing your movement, or perhaps that secret, almost perverse pleasure in witnessing a rival's misfortune, a flicker of dark satisfaction you immediately try to extinguish. These are not rational maneuvers. These are the deeply buried fragments of your cargo, shifting and exerting their potent influence from the hold. From our earliest days, we are subtly, yet powerfully, taught to jettison certain aspects of our nature. Don't be selfish, the voice whispers. Anger is ugly, it insists. Vulnerability is weakness, it decrees. So we dutifully cast these powerful, authentic parts of ourselves overboard. Believing we've lightened our load, we craft a smoother, more socially acceptable facade, convincing ourselves that this polished version is our entirety. But what is jettisoned does not simply disappear. On the contrary, it gathers a subtle, pervasive power from the depths, for the unconscious holds onto everything. It simply waits for the precise moment to assert its influence from below. And this is exactly how the shadow operates. It manifests in unforeseen ways, creating a profound, often unnoticed drag on your vessel. It surfaces vividly in our projections, where we find ourselves sharply criticizing in other ships the very cargo we've refused to acknowledge in our own. Have you ever noticed how specific behaviors in another sailor ignite an intense, almost visceral irritation within you? Perhaps that overtly boastful captain agitates you, not just for their arrogance, but because they express a self-confidence that your own internalized rules forbid you to display. Or that recklessly impulsive adventurer infuriates you because you were taught to rigidly control every spontaneous desire. This, my friend, is the shadow's cargo, reflecting back at you from another's hold, seeking recognition. But it also manifests in more direct and damaging ways. It can create internal currents that lead to persistent self-sabotage, subtly guiding your ship into dangerous waters that reinforce your deepest fears, transforming a repressed desire into a consuming obsession. How many ships sail frantically away from one storm, only to find themselves inexplicably drawn into another, uncannily identical one? The shadow's unseen drag guides them without conscious awareness. And here is the most crucial insight. As long as you refuse to acknowledge and integrate your shadow cargo, you will never truly be the master of your own vessel. You will believe your course corrections are deliberate, but in reality, they are dictated by the discarded aspects of yourself you refuse to face. You presume to be charting your destiny, but you are merely sailing along an invisible, deeper current set by the parts of you that remain trapped in the profound darkness of your own hold. Chapter 3. The Science and Psychology Within. If your individual vessel is already subject to manipulation by its own internal depths, imagine the compounded effect when we add the pervasive influence of the entire ocean, the collective weather system, the unseen trade winds, and the powerful gyres of society, programmed to dictate the very direction of your thoughts, your actions, and even your deepest emotional responses. From the instant you first felt the spray on your face, even before you gained conscious awareness, your ship was already being shaped by an entity far vaster than your personal psyche. The ocean you sail, the cultural atmosphere that envelops you, the invisible maritime laws that define safe and dangerous passage, all these coalesce to form a labyrinth of currents from which few ships manage to truly escape and chart their own unique course. Consider this, truly. Did you meticulously choose the prevailing winds of your beliefs? Or were they simply the dominant air currents implanted through your family, your schooling, the relentless broadcasts from the shore, and the ancient maps of religion? From a young age, you were implicitly taught to follow certain routes, to avoid particular treacherous passages, and to desire specific destinations. You were not born with an innate craving for a stable port, a grand dock, or the universal approval of other vessels. These were ideas skillfully interjected into your navigation system without your conscious consent. You believe these desires are intrinsically yours because they are presented as the normal course. But the piercing question that almost no one dares to ask is, normal for whom, and normal for what true purpose? The collective ocean, in its grand design, does not inherently seek to foster truly independent navigators. It desires conformity. It seeks your adherence to its well-worn shipping lanes, a predictable rhythm of training, labor, consumption, and obedience. And to ensure you do not stray from these established routes, It employs one of the most potent navigational aids in existence: sophisticated emotional conditioning. From early on, you learned that deviating from the collective fleet invites severe consequences. You learned to feel the chilling guilt of sailing a different course. You learned to harbor fear when you dared to challenge the lead ship. You learned to covet the same cargo as all other vessels, because the greatest terror for a human ship is the profound isolation of being truly alone on the vast, indifferent sea. But what unfolds when every other ship around you has been programmed with the identical course settings? We inadvertently create a self-reinforcing system where each vessel unknowingly validates the other's illusion of independent sailing. Observe how the signals from modern shores often promote a vision of happiness contingent on material cargo and external accolades. You need to visit exotic ports, boast a perfect hull, and perpetually fly the flag of success. Because if you fail to meet these benchmarks, a pervasive sense of inadequacy takes root, like rust on your hull. Yet who authored these arbitrary standards? Why do you feel this incessant compulsion to measure up? The answer is starkly simple. Because the collective ocean created this very scale to gauge your value. And thus, you become a prisoner of an endless pursuit for something that never truly originated from your authentic navigational instincts. Beyond mere conditioning, these societal forces tap into what Jung termed the collective unconscious. This is a deeper stratum, a shared reservoir of human experience and archetypal patterns that transcend individual history. It's why certain symbols, stories, and social structures resonate across cultures. We are not just programmed by our immediate environment, but subtly guided by universal, pre-existing blueprints embedded within the human psyche itself. These archetypal narratives of hero, outcast, mother, shadow play out on the societal stage, offering ready-made roles and expectations that reinforce the illusion of a single, correct path. You conform not just because you were taught to, but because these deep archetypal currents tug at a primal part of your being, whispering of belonging and ostracism, of acceptance and rejection. You follow rules you have never fundamentally questioned, avoiding certain passages not because of deep, personal ethical reflection, but because you were taught to fear or reject them, often echoing ancient collective fears. If this deep dive into the mind's hidden currents is illuminating your own inner landscape, please consider giving this video a like and sharing it with another seeker on their journey. Your engagement helps us continue to chart these vital, often overlooked territories of self-knowledge. Thank you for being a part of this profound exploration. If there exists a boundless sea where the insistent currents of social conditioning cannot penetrate, where the rules you navigate by in waking life cease to exist, that profound and enigmatic space is the world of dreams. Jung regarded dreams not as a random flotsam from a chaotic mind, but as direct communiques from the deep ocean of the unconscious, urgent, symbolic messages striving to illuminate truths that your conscious mind, in its waking vigilance, persistently overlooks. While we are awake, we meticulously adjust our sails, conform to established shipping lanes, and rationalize every course correction. But in the deep, silent hours of sleep, the unvarnished truth rises to the surface. Dreams are the pristine, unclouded surface of the sea, reflecting the authentic, often hidden, forces that truly drive our voyage. Consider a captain who outwardly asserts confidence in their well-established route, yet habitually dreams of their ship being hopelessly lost in a dense fog, unable to find any familiar landmark. This could be the unconscious signaling a profound, repressed yearning for genuine change and new exploration. Or the navigator who, in waking life, prides themselves on their unwavering logic and control, but in dreams is repeatedly overwhelmed by colossal, uncontrollable waves. Such imagery might suggest they are suppressing essential, powerful emotional forces within their own being. The unconscious cannot deceive. It will always find a way to communicate its truth. But the most unsettling revelation is that dreams frequently unveil the stark reality. Our waking choices are often not truly our own. How many times have you dreamed of sailing a particular course, only to abruptly realize you had no idea of your destination, or that your ship was trapped in a strange, unyielding harbor filled with countless closed gates, yet unable to open any? These potent images serve as profound, symbolic charts for the unfolding narrative of your waking life. We obediently follow directions we never truly question, ensnared in cycles that feel familiar, yet whose origins remain deeply obscured in the fog. The lingering question, then, is this: if our dreams offer such an unparalleled navigational tool into our most genuine desires and deepest fears, what tangible action can we take with this invaluable knowledge? How can we interpret this symbolic language to finally reclaim authentic command over our lives? The answer resides in what Jung considered the most vital and transformative expedition of all human existence. A daunting, courageous voyage that only a select few dare to undertake, the profound process of individuation. Chapter 4: The Modern Toolkit. If the profound truths we've explored thus far hold water, then it compels a startling realization. You have, perhaps, never truly been the unhindered master of your vessel. Your course corrections have been subtly swayed by the subterranean currents of the unconscious, your compass settings meticulously calibrated by the pervasive forces of society, and your most authentic, hidden destinations only dare to surface when your conscious mind retreats into the realm of dreams. But if the cherished notion of free will is, in essence, an illusion, does this condemn us to perpetually drift, mere flotsam on the vast sea, manipulated by forces beyond our control? Jung vehemently disagreed. He believed that a formidable expedition exists to transcend this invisible current. Yet, this voyage is anything but easy. It demands a willingness to confront the most profound truth of all, the unvarnished truth of your entire ship, every plank and every hidden compartment. This transformative journey bears a name: Individuation, and it stands as your solitary prospect for genuine liberation. Individuation is the arduous, lifelong process of bringing every part of your ship into conscious awareness and integrating it into a unified, coherent vessel. This demands a courageous descent into your shadow cargo, recognizing and accepting those aspects of yourself that you have been conditioned to fear or deny. It requires a relentless examination of the navigational charts you instinctively follow as your own, but which, upon deeper reflection, were merely passed down by other ships. It compels you to grasp that many of the destinations you chase may not, in fact, be your authentic aspirations, but rather echoes of what you were taught to desire. Now we offer you 3 decrees, foundational principles, a modern toolkit for those ready to navigate consciously. For Decree 1, the inaugural stride towards truly navigating your own course is to humbly accept that your grip on the helm is not as absolute as you might assume. As long as you persist in believing that your decisions are purely rational, that your fears exert no influence, that your past voyages hold no sway over your present reactions, you will inevitably remain adrift, a ship oblivious to the very currents that carry it. Why it works? This acceptance is not surrender. It is a profound act of humility that paradoxically grants power. By acknowledging the unseen forces, you cease fighting an invisible enemy. You open the door to observation, to understanding, and ultimately to conscious intervention. It disarms the ego's illusion of absolute control, creating space for genuine self-awareness to emerge. For Decree 2, the second critical step is to diligently illuminate everything that lies cloaked in the depths of your unconscious ocean. This entails a disciplined observation of your automatic course corrections, your repetitive loops, those spontaneous moments when you steer without conscious deliberation. It mandates a diligent attention to your dreams, for they carry potent navigational messages that your conscious mind persistently bypasses. It compels you to reflect deeply on the behaviors of other ships that ignite your greatest irritation, for they often serve as a mirror to the unacknowledged, repressed parts within your own being. Why it works. To see is to begin to change. When you bring the unconscious into the light of conscious awareness, its power to silently dictate your life diminishes. Observation creates a subtle distance, allowing you to choose your response rather than merely reacting. Dreams offer unfiltered data from your deeper self, bypassing the rational mind's defenses, while recognizing projections helps you reclaim disowned parts of your personality, making you more whole. For Decree 3, but the third, and arguably most demanding step is this: to consciously and deliberately steer against the ingrained currents that hold you captive. This means courageously challenging your long-held navigational rules, actively disrupting the patterns you follow without question, and choosing courses that, while potentially daunting, resonate with the deepest, most authentic compass of who you truly are. This, precisely, is the juncture where you commence the profound act of charting your own existence, rather than merely reacting to the predetermined narrative imposed upon you by the currents. Why it works. This is the embodiment of true self-sovereignty. By deliberately choosing paths aligned with your authentic self, even when they diverge from conditioned expectations, you begin to rewrite your internal programming. Each conscious choice reinforces new neural pathways, weakens old patterns, and gradually shifts the deep currents of your unconscious to align with your conscious will. This is not about fighting the unconscious, but consciously guiding it, integrating all parts of yourself into a purposeful, self-directed voyage. Conclusion: the vast majority of humanity's ships, regrettably, will never perceive the subtle currents that bind them. They will traverse their entire lives faithfully sailing an invisible course, steadfastly believing that their choices are authentically their own, that their destinations are genuine, that their navigational principles are the product of an independent, self-governing mind. And perhaps, for many, this state of unconscious sailing is a form of mercy, for the act of truly perceiving this profound illusion carries a substantial cost. Once you glimpse beyond the surface, there is no comfortable return to the familiar drift. Jung understood that awakening to the pervasive reality of the unseen architect within does not usher in solace, but rather a profound, often unsettling, disorientation. When you finally grasp that a significant portion of your voyage has been orchestrated by forces you could not see, a peculiar sensation emerges, a complex fusion of exhilarating liberation and raw, terrifying responsibility. You are no longer merely a ship following the fleet. You are now burdened with the awesome, yet empowering responsibility of actively choosing and becoming the true captain of your own unique vessel. And that, undeniably, is a daunting prospect. We have journeyed together through the depths of the unconscious, confronted the hidden cargo of the shadow, felt the pervasive pull of societal currents, and consulted the ancient wisdom of dreams. We have seen that while free will may often be an illusion, the path of individuation offers a profound way to reclaim your authentic power. It is a process of fearless observation, conscious integration, and deliberate action against the forces that have, until now, steered your course. Observe the ships around you. Witness how many appear trapped within the same predictable loops, making the same navigational errors, endlessly rationalizing their course corrections without ever daring to probe the deeper origins of their own movements. They confidently assert their control. They are certain they know their destination. But you now grasp the more intricate, unsettling truth. The unconscious directs more of the voyage than we are ever willing to concede. And here, then, lies the true, inescapable dilemma. What will you do with this profound knowledge? You can choose to dismiss it, to continue sailing as before, effectively pretending you never peered beneath the surface. Or you can commence the arduous, yet ultimately liberating, work of applying what you have learned. Meticulously observing your own subtle drifts, courageously challenging your ingrained navigational charts, and relentlessly questioning the authenticity of your desired destinations. But be forewarned, the collective ocean, in its comfortable slumber, does not look kindly upon those who deviate from the established shipping lanes. For those who penetrate beyond the surface illusion often become a subtle, yet potent, challenge to the comfortable equilibrium of those who remain asleep at the helm. As Carl Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. The journey to true self-governance is an expedition into the depths, not a casual cruise. If you found the courage to consider these truths, remember this: your unique vessel is waiting to be truly piloted. Join our community of enlightened navigators by subscribing and ringing that notification bell, so you don't miss our next deep dive into the hidden forces that shape our lives. Share your insights below. What hidden current in your own life are you now ready to consciously navigate? Your true voyage begins now. Until next time, dare to chart your own course.